Greetings, taxpayers. My fellow and sister taxpayers of America, as well as any members of the animal kingdom who might be listening to me now, I speak for you today. I speak truth to power today in honor of mothers and grandmothers of this country who are the backbone of this country, and without whose sacrifice there would be no soldiers to fight in any rich man's war for turf in order to sell weapons, drugs, pornography, and the fried corpses of headless chickens that Colonel Sanders and other colonels, generals, and contractors within the military-industrial complex genetically modified for mass consumption, which will soon lead to the ultimate doom of the entire cosmic web of life, including human doom. I'm here today to announce that after a lifetime in TV and show business, and even tougher than that, raising 5 children and 5 grandsons, I have, thanks to much prayer, I have decided to pursue a less stressful future. I have decided instead simply to fix everything that is wrong with the world myself. Sadly, the current leaders of this world, 99% of them being male, are selfish idiots, moral cowards, greedy incompetents, and sexual degenerates who cannot keep it in their pants ever, not even for a minute. In order to save future generations of young males like my 5 gorgeous grandsons, as well as all females in life forms, I declare patriarchal politics obsolete. And I call forth divine matriarchy, the only thing that can save this planet at this late date. Patriarchy is impotent and qualitatively unable to solve even the most simple problems in the cosmos, such as picking up their own socks or placing a carton of milk back in the refrigerator after drinking from it. To start curing this world, I am officially announcing that I am running for President of the United States of America, as well as Prime Minister of Israel. This is a twofer on the brand new Green Tea Party ticket. As all political candidates must, I will often refer to my particular religious affiliation, which happens to be the Church of Common Sense. Its laws and gospels are nothing more than practical, simple solutions to the problems that currently plague humanity, and I will incorporate all of these religious values into my campaign platform. And here it is. Step 1. Legalize hemp and allow women to grow it and make food, clothing, housing, and fuel for pennies from it. And legalize marijuana, too. Let women integrate their divided consciousness with a natural herb instead of doctors' pills that kill the liver. End the war on drugs. This will take potheads and nonviolent drug users out of prisons where you can get drugs anyway, thereby making room for the violent offenders and the real criminals, the actual threats to world peace. Step 2, I will change the demographics of the government. Since women make up 53% of the American public, a minimum 53% of Green Tea Party leadership will be female. And given that 1 in 6 Americans lives below poverty, 1/6 of the Green Tea Party leadership will officially be poor. As Congress congresspeople and senators, they will be able to become rich enough to eradicate their own poverty, as well as those they represent, simply by having access to public policy that decides where public money goes. They will simply direct public money to the public. A novel idea. A small grant of $1,500 can enable a poor woman to start a business that can create wealth and job for as many as 10 other people within 2 years. Poor women know how to get things done cheap and well. They know how to stretch that dollar. In America, for speaking truth, women are called bitches. I seek next Mother's Day a march of 1 million American bitches who can get the job done. The job of getting the food to the hungry and thereby saving our rich American friends and neighbors from going straight to hell and burning there for all of eternity. This is just one of my righteous spiritual goals and one of my solutions to the problems in America. Step 3, probably the most important in the platform. I will outlaw bullshit. After the passage of this law, the patriarchy will inevitably start to crumble, as will the concept of war itself, which is largely a large load of bullshit. And no, the prison industrial and military industrial complexes will not collapse under Green Tea Party rule. The only real difference is we'll imprison the most dangerous people on earth using our strong military to find and arrest them. They won't be hard to find, as they're already sitting at the top of every giant Ponzi scheme of a big multinational corporation. Just 1% of the population. They kill dispassionately by stealing the wealth of entire communities and classes. They shall face a punishment even more horrifying than death to them. These greedy souls will be forced to actually pay back the money they stole. Every single dime. Speculators and bankers, those who poison the earth and create wars for profit, will be required to clean the sewers and the land of all the toxins their profits have brought. Let me turn the page. If they choose not to do the work of cleanup themselves, as they are usually too sensitive for such unpleasantries, then they'll foot the bill and be required to pay 10 times the minimum wage, which will only cost them the equivalent of one middle-priced meal in a 4-star restaurant. And if they cut corners or make things in any way unsafe for anyone, they will be arrested and tried and punished by the people's new system of justice. After dealing with the obscenely rich, the Green Tea Party and the Church of Common Sense will abolish the pedophile priesthood. And that will be simple. I remind you of my third bit of legislation, the aforementioned outlawing of bullshit. Well, that includes all religious dogma. Without it, the twin towers of patriarchy, warmongering, and pedophilia will collapse under their own weight, and without excuses and lies, no priest will ever dare bless an altar boy again. With re-education camps, we'll reinforce the shocking idea that the guilty must actually pay for their crimes, even if they're wealthy or hiding behind God. It's important that children see the guilty leaders punished. Otherwise, they will grow up thinking it's okay to rob and hurt others, and that you can get away with it simply because you are rich or a priest. Somewhere within the concept of justice, the worst of the guilty must always be removed. I cannot divorce this thought completely. The people must have justice, and so I want to reinstate and enshrine the blessed and holy, hold that up please, the blessed and holy guillotine, a fast and painless execution of justice and of execution. There's simply no kinder way of death than a swift and painless death. Everyone on earth would vote for that if they were allowed to vote on it. And though it may surprise you, the capitalist system will remain in place until somebody comes up with something better. Something that serves the needs of most and not the few at the expense of the many. I am a capitalist, don't get me wrong. I like my money and I want to keep it. But I also want to share a large percentage of it in order to stop massive preventable misery and pain. Does that make me crazy in America? Yes, it does. I want a new kind of capitalism, one not fueled by wars, one that doesn't pass its wealth to a handful of white guys and call that free trade, one where the elderly actually get paid their retirement money. We'll have capitalism, but we'll have social programs and education and compassion. I'm talking about a system that rewards hard work and ambition, that cares for its weakest, and allows the richest nation on earth to provide health care for its own children, for God's sake. And you don't get called a feminazi for saying that. Capitalism and socialism will combine into peopleism, where both ideas work together for a functional system. Solutions. No one shall cling blindly to a single unyielding ideology just because some bloated talk show host who tells the poor to tighten their belts, or that damn Ayn Rand book. People and societies don't work like perfectly predictable machines. You actually have to have compromise, adjust, and make reasonable choices. You have to find solutions. Blessed be common sense. The Middle East crisis. The Middle East crisis, yes, it can be solved too. And I have figured out how to do it. As Prime Minister of Israel, I will introduce a bill into the Knesset that will simply pay the Arabs not to shoot at the Jews. No more wars will be necessary with simple and basic labor issues being solved. Not religion. That's a big cover for an underlying labor issue. Arab billionaires, Christian billionaires, Russian and Chinese billionaires can kick in and solve the Middle East problem too. Why does it only have to be the Jewish people? The Jewish people are sick and tired of being used as the world's moral hostages. No, you shut up. Any Hamas or Zionist type who tries to interfere with the labor unions and grab the money will be marched to the guillotines and subsequently beheaded. And isn't that easier and more productive than some endless bloody conflict? So saith the gospel of common sense. Happy Mother's Day. As President of the United States and Prime Minister of Israel, a twofer, I will shut down those who make the Jewish people their moral hostages, and that is namely the Rothschild banking family, who coincidentally are the reason people hate Jews. But it is time for all grudges and blood libels to be done. I don't like what the Jews say about Christians, and I don't like what the Christians say about the Jews. I don't like the way either of them talk about Islam, and I don't like what Muslims say about Jews and Christians. I simply care nothing for any of your religions, as all three are fundamentally flawed, unlike the Church of Common Sense, right from the start. They call God a he instead of she. And all three would love to burn me at the stake for saying that. In the New World, every position of power evacuated by an arrested and beheaded pedophile or bankster will be filled with a grandmother who has pledged to create heaven on earth for all children, animals, and humans with the stolen money we have recovered. Each grandmother is responsible for at least 100 people around her, which is the normal. And she answers to the grandmother at the top of her district. Each grandmother in charge of a district answers to the Tribunal Council of Matriarchs. The titular heads of the Worldwide Association of Matriarchal Tribunals will answer to the head of the world family, which is, of course, me. And in this new age, war is no longer a business. War profiteering is punishable by the blessed guillotine. And to keep these deaths to a minimum, all presidents, prime ministers, and queens, there will be no kings. All come here, come closer. Each grandmother who is responsible for at least 100 people around her, which is normal, answers to the grandmother at the top of her district. Each grandmother in charge of a district answers to the Tribunal Council of Matriarchs. The titular heads of the Worldwide Association of Matriarchal Tribunals will answer to the head of the world family, which is, of course, me. And in this new age, war is no longer a business. War profiteering is punishable by the blessed guillotine. And to keep these deaths to a minimum, all presidents, prime ministers, queens, there won't be any kings. All prime ministers, queens, and presidents will be required to fight in the very first infantry wave of any war they authorize. Trust me, this will make for some productive peace talks, people. Why have I been chosen to deliver the message of female intelligence and its divinity to a deaf world of males? I have asked my God that question, and she answered, "Hey, why not you, Roseanne?" Indeed, why not each of us? Let's stop propping up bullshit and reflecting it back at twice its size. Let's drop out, ladies. Let's plant gardens. Let's not buy in. Let's divest. Let's get real. Let's take back the real estate between our ears and get green like a son of a bitch. Let's start our own schools and teach our kids to heal the world and not destroy it. Let's help each other first before we help men or their gods. Let's be selfish for our own sake, and there's just this once. I know the thought of that seems blasphemous and horrific, but we have to do it. The truth of the light of reality will illuminate all that we see and all that we do. Ladies, I implore you, join me in the Church of Common Sense, in the Green Tea Party movement. And with your vote, I